Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD, where I am here for just some hangout time and to get some painting done. I've got a few Star Wars figures that I'm working on, a couple of Battletech figures, and maybe we'll find something else. But basically just here to hang out, yammer away about, random topics that come into my head, and yeah, we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's move over to the table. I am working currently on 4 characters from Star Wars Imperial Assault. Basically, I painted them a few years ago. Okay, not so great. But I just figure I will, clean them up, make them look decent, put a little bit of a wash on them. I don't really go back and repaint figures. So more about just kind of, touching it up, cleaning it up, making it look decent, finishing off the bases, things like that. So nothing too crazy. We're going to start with this character. She's a Twi'lek. And she actually starts out with a staff, but eventually as you play with her, she upgrades to a Jedi and gets a lightsaber. So I went ahead and I painted I painted the lightsaber in. So we will go with that. We're going to start with her, and then we'll finish off the last couple of figures, and then I will have all of my Imperial Assault figures ready to go. All right, so biggest problems. Let's see if we can focus in so you can see it. Basically, there's been some paint chips on her cloak. This wasn't very clean. I didn't really clean up the base by the feet. You can't see anything on her face, so I'm going to hit that with a wash. Just gave her a leather headband, leather belt. Definitely needs some cleanup in that area. So that's what we're looking at. Let's see. So one problem is a lot of this is some guessing work, because I did these literally like 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't keep any notes. So I have absolutely no idea what exact paints I used. And so I just kind of have to guess. So I'm going to use some Vallejo Stone Gray. I believe that's what I used on her and on this guy. And then also for the skin fur of this guy. So we'll go through and touch that up. One second. Friend of mine is texting me at 3 o'clock in the morning. All right. It's funny that I look at these now and realize, oh, I need to fix that. I need to touch that up. 6 or 7 years ago, I called these figures done. My friend has a 3D resin printer and likes showing me off the gaming stuff that he's printing. Currently, he is printing a bunch of tanks, but he's also going to be printing me some Shadowrun figures. Morning, Steven. Happy New Year. And it's not so much that I'm up early, it's that I haven't gone to bed. Normally, I sleep from like about 9 a.m. to sometime in the afternoon. And so I recorded. Well, I've been sitting here and I finished binging Batman Beyond because Batman Beyond is awesome. And while I was watching that, I recorded about a dozen shorts, got them uploaded. So those are ready for the next 2 weeks. And while I need to do my review video for the Clan Invasion mechs, well, I'll come back to that in just a second. I need to do my review video of the Clan Invasion mechs. These guys. I just don't want to right now. So I record at my painting desk, and nice, very nice. And so I had a bunch of stuff on it, and I'd have to clear it up to record my review. And so I just said, yeah, exactly. Can't be arsed. I like that one. I don't think I've ever heard it before, but I get it. But yeah, so these were still sitting on the table because the other night when I was painting, I got 2 of the Imperial Assault characters done. And so I just figured I would get the last 4 done because the core set comes with 6. And I'm also not having to do the entire paint job. It's more touch up and clean up, so a little bit easier. Britishism. Yeah, I grew up watching a decent amount of British TV, so I can pick up a decent amount of those. Anyways, what's the next project you're working on? And obviously you already did the Hell's Horses. Actually, I think you told me the other day, but now I think I forget. All right, what did I use for her? I think I just used oiled leather. Let's find that. All right. So, okay, so you've done Hell's Horses, Snow Ravens, and other stuff. Next one, you're doing something for Inner Sphere, if I understand that correctly. Okay, it's not saddle brown because that's too red. Can't be this leather brown. That's too dark. Nice. Do you do all the art yourself, or do you contract that out? I need to start highlighting what I'm responding to. Nope. Maybe. Beige brown? Yeah, we're going to go with beige brown. Actually, before I do beige brown, I should use up the rest of this stone gray. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I've got ideas for stuff, but the art rates just are not in my budget. I'd rather just buy more games. So, like, all of my thumbnails, all of my graphics, I do all of that on Corel Draw with a whole lot of copy and paste. Because I've got a laser cutter. So I learned how to make some simple designs and have them come out. I would do nameplates for people at work. So figured out good combinations of like I'd let them pick a black and white picture and and then I'd figure out a font that would go with it. So I can handle that kind of art. But I am definitely not winning awards, that's for sure. But it is also fun because, one of my kids, his mother-in-law, the last 2 Christmases has had me engrave some stuff for her. So a little bit of cash from there. And then another son, his boss wanted me to engrave a bunch of stuff. So did that. Of course, then the money got sent to my wife somehow. She's like, "Oh, this gets to pay for all the things that you went and bought recently." Like, that's not very nice. So, but it's fun. I don't use it anywhere near as often as I should. I keep debating making stuff and putting it up on Etsy or something, just to sort of monetize the channel, not to get rich, but just to offset some costs, maybe upgrade equipment, things like that. So we'll see what happens. But basically, that just kind of comes down to what people are interested in, I should say. So, anyhow, so you working today, or are you just hanging out this time? I actually worked yesterday afternoon. My job pays very well if you work on holidays, but they also have less staff. Okay, so you're a weekend power. Got it. Yeah, my company, like, they'll do lower staff for holidays, and then they also ask for volunteers so that anybody who's supposed to be off for the holidays gets off, and anyone who works gets paid stupid money. And they needed a volunteer, and I wanted some stupid money because my wife wants to replace the carpet and buy a bedroom set. So I got to do that. Actually, I'm looking at like 10 plus hours of overtime per week over the next 6 weeks. So that should go some distance. I'm actually kind of excited about it. We were short a guy for a while. Let's see. Nice. Very nice. Yeah. So my buddy that's up right now says, so he wants me to paint a fire moth as a taxi. So like yellow checkered stripes kind of thing. I might have one, but I don't think so. I didn't find it. And basically because he says it's the best elemental taxi in Battletech. And so it would just be really funny to have a fire moth that looks like a taxi. And I think so as well. So we're going to do that. That's right. Flat Earth. Let's try this. I do not think this is the right brown for her, which means I'm basically repainting her, which was not my goal, but that's fine. All right, so weirdest Battletech paint job. Go. Since we're talking about painting one like a taxi. I haven't really done any weird ones yet. I've done a lot of Clan Beta Galaxy, which I definitely should be working on, but these have my attention at the moment. But I've been trying to paint based on legends or the unit paint job for notable pilots that I find. So I haven't really thought about doing anything silly until my friend told me to paint a taxi. He's also telling me to, because I think he's watching. I think he's this. Oh, we got 3 people in stream. Awesome. And he told me to paint a tattoo on the guy, which I think he meant this guy. Which I don't know if I'm going to pull that off. Grand Dragon like an Eldar Wraithguard. Look at that. With its body being black, its arms kind of bone. Also did a Grand Titan. Okay, Grand Titan like Optimus Prime. That's pretty funny. I like that. But yeah, I'm rapidly running out of quote unquote legitimate paint jobs to do. So I think I'm going to have to find some just fun ones like that to do. We've got a friend, some prints of the worst Lance possible. The horror that is CC Cha-Cha. I don't know what I'm guessing Compelled Confederation Cha. Oh, the horror that is Compelled Confederation Cha-Cha. Cicada, Cyclops, Charger, Champion, painted pink and yellow. I don't think I've seen the unit color compendium. I usually just go to Camo Specs and use that. I don't think I've ever heard of the color compendium. So is that its own website? Where does one find that? And then also, why pink and yellow? Pink and yellow is a very, very odd combination. Let's see here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Unit color companion. Oh, compendium, not companion. Let's see here. Oh, come on. Let's see here. Factions. Wow. It's a little fancier than okay, maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, so these seem more like British TV icon Mr. Blobby. These seem like they're taken from like MechWarrior Online. Not bad though. I will definitely have to. I will definitely have to use that as an alternative source. The mechs. You kind of confused me on that one, Steven. You said the mechs are, but the paint schemes are canonical? Or the mechs are, but the paint schemes aren't canonical? I'm getting 2 different pieces of information here. My friend keeps texting me instead of just commenting in chat. Which is fine. Everybody's different. really wish I could buy Reaper paints where I live. I actually find them to be more to my liking than most paints. But the only option is to order them. And I'm really weird. I'm kind of lazy about ordering stuff to get delivered. Which is not what Amazon has trained us all to do. Just how I work. Oh god. Okay, so the mechs are from MechWarrior Online. Paint schemes are canonical. Okay. So they're probably like semi-canonical since it's coming from MechWarrior Online, because like usually when I'm digging through Sarna to try and find a pilot, usually pilots from MechWarrior 5 and MechWarrior Online are like listed as like unofficial pilots. So which is fine. That's not usually where I look. I was so annoyed with MechWarrior 5. Or not MechWarrior 5, but MechWarrior Online when it originally came out. Because I played MechWarrior, MechWarrior 2, MechWarrior 3, MechWarrior 4 back in yon olden times, and absolutely loved those. Partly because they played like flight simulators. Got it. Okay. I'll highlight that for a second. So I usually, or like MechWarrior Online was coming out and I got all excited about it. And then I went to play it, and it basically plays like a first-person shooter, which just is not my style of game. And so I abandoned it. And I'd done like the pre-orders. I didn't go nuts with the pre-order, but this was back before crowdfunding. So I never got into MechWarrior Online, and I kind of avoided MechWarrior 5 just because my understanding is it's built off of MechWarrior Online, and it just wasn't the kind of game I wanted to play. So, but people enjoy it. I'm just being an old grognard. Yeah, and basically that's what I've been doing with camo specs is like if I have a name or a unit, I'll go and I'll see what they have. Usually there's like a couple of options. Sometimes I find stuff I like. Sometimes I'll just refuse to pick a pilot, even if it's like the only one available, just because I hate the paint scheme. Like right now, if I find anything that's Clan Wolf Beta Galaxy, I'm not painting it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 15 Clan Wolf Beta Galaxy that I need to finish for a friend of mine, and I'm not
I'm not painting anymore. Oh my gosh. I am just so tired. But Beta Galaxy, like I said, I need to finish them. I don't want to because I'm so tired of painting Beta Galaxy. But I got to get him finished because he's also going to pay me. Not a lot because I'm not that good a painter. But I think I've got him up to like, where he'll pay me like $5 a mech. It ain't great, but I don't care. It's fine. Beige and gray. And then put a little bit of red trim on it. So it's not bad. It's just boring. And then I also have some Inner Sphere stuff. And so I'm painting these as Wolf Dragoons. So I've got a company of Wolf Dragoons, and it's not much more exciting. So it's a little frustrating, but you know, I will get it done. He's getting a little naggy because it has now been officially over 1 year. But I've already given him like 30 Beta Galaxy. So like he has stuff to play with. I just need to finish it. And he knows where I live. It's not like I'm running away with him. I wouldn't do that anyways. That's just rude. So anyways, I just need to get it finished. Just so I can have it done and not hanging over my head anymore. But regardless. Yeah, and I'm quote unquote breaking my rule. I'm painting black on the model instead of dark gray. Mostly because I don't want to go over it with dark gray. Just paint it black. Because that's what I did originally. Because I don't repaint models. Just in this case, I'm just touching up and making it look half decent. How's my lighting on this? Can you see this guy okay? Or is this better? Like this, I think looks better on the screen. I don't know. I don't watch. I mean, I have my camera programs, but it also feels like it's not giving me enough light. I don't know. I just want you guys to be able to kind of see what I'm doing in my amateur-ish ways. The light on was better. Okay. I just don't know. It looks not so great. And I actually have like a bunch of lights. I just worry that I'm washing everything out. And I wish I could use autofocus on my camera, but then it always like focuses back to the table and not to the piece that I'm working on. So I just said, screw it. Turned off the focus, and if I want to change it, I have to do it manually. There's probably some better camera setups, but I work with what I got. I'm not worried about it. You keep showing up, so there's that. Now, 4 o'clock in the morning, we got 2 people watching. So it must not be that boring. But I also decided to splurge. Every year, Palladium Books does their Christmas surprise package. Basically, you get a bunch of books for like half off. And I've been mildly obsessed with it recently. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get the surprise package. Add a few more books to my collection, which is sad because I had all the books when they originally came out. So I don't know what I'm getting. Basically they ask you to give them a list of like 10 books. Right now I have like 5 Palladium books total in physical copy. So I just said I prefer Rifts books, I prefer World books, because I really like the world building that they do in Rifts. And so I just said, I'd prefer World books, but if you want to send me some core books of other games, that's fine too. One thing that I actually think is kind of cool, because they've got a few different role-playing games, different genres, time periods, fantasy, science fiction, all over the place. So one of the questions that they ask, because basically it's a little survey that you fill out. They ask, what's a game you'd like to try? Which I honestly think is a brilliant maneuver, because I've done it in the past, before I got rid of all my stuff. Then I got rid of all my stuff. And so it was fun because like you could say, oh, I would like to try, Rifts Chaos Earth. And so usually like whatever game you'd like to try, they're going to toss that core book in as well. And this time I said Beyond the Supernatural, which is their sort of like X-Files-y kind of game. But then like I said, I'd, if they want to throw more in as part of the regular thing. Basically, you spend like $60 and then you get like $100 worth of books is kind of how the deal works. So it's not the best deal, but it's not bad. They also round up anyone in the office that that like worked on the books that they're sending you, and if you want them autographed, they'll get them autographed for you. So I always say to get autographs. Just like normally I like to get an autograph in person, but in this case, I don't care. Sign my books, that's fine. And especially because Siembieda started doing all this back in the 80s, which means he's north of 60 at this point. So the chances of getting a lot of stuff signed just keeps going down. So figured why not? But yeah, so it'll be fun to see what I get out of it. Right now I have the core book, I have the Coalition War book, the Juicer Uprising, Source Book 1, Northern Gun 2, and Rifts Chaos Earth. So I got plenty of stuff to add. So mech painting this weekend, awesome. What are you going to paint? Anything specific or just whatever inspires you at the moment? Because yeah, me, literally whatever inspires me. I actually like I like doing these streams. It's not necessarily a ton of watch time. But it's a good excuse to make me paint. Because I can't leave my desk. I mean, I can, but I usually don't because I got a stream going. That's kind of cheating if you're not actually there giving people something to watch. Clanners. Okay, Diamond Sharks, good call. I think I've done one Diamond Shark. I don't know. I'd have to go back through my list. Actually, I need to wait for that to dry a little bit. Let me pull up my list. Yes, I've done a Diamond Shark Grendel. I kind of like that one. I would have to find him, but it's James Fowler. Clan Diamond Shark Alpha Galaxy. So let's see here. Actions. Sea Fox. Nope, that won't work. Ah, there it is. Like I thought they had them separate. Alpha Galaxy. So it'll look something like this. I don't want to go digging for my particular paint job. But those guys, that one was actually a little fun. I actually have like three or four Grendels. So maybe it's two. I don't know. I always forget. But yeah, so I've got that guy. Yeah, it's not the best looking mech, but you're right. It's a very, very good. Like the sculpt actually looks really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. So let's see. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Sometimes I worry I get the paint on a little too thick. But oh well. Where's that? No, that's muddy brown. Chocolate brown. Yeah, this guy's got chocolate brown. Put out way too much paint. Yeah, and I need to get back to my 15 millimeter BattleTech. I've got a whole grip of Clicky Tech stuff. And so I'm going to paint up some of those mechs for... I want to actually use them to play Alpha Strike. I think Alpha Strike would be great at 15 millimeter. Especially since you're supposed to use regular maps instead of, or not regular maps, but like regular table with regular terrain instead of the maps, at least from my understanding. I haven't read the Alpha Strike rules. I'm bad at reading rules. Might have something to do with the ADHD. But a friend of mine will help me learn. We've been wanting to do a collaboration doing some Battletech stuff. And I just think that would be fun. So I've got 5. I think we got like 15 total. Like 8 to 10 inner sphere. And then like 5 clan mechs. Now, obviously, they're more Dark Age, Ill Clan, Project Phoenix style art. I'm really not a fan of Project Phoenix, but whatever. Let's see. All right, she's got some chocolate brown pants. She also got some black I need to touch up. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed right now on the Alpha Strike box because I've already got, well, I don't even have Alpha Strike Commander's Edition. I have Alpha Strike and then the Alpha Strike Companion, but I just have them in PDF. But a buddy of mine, the one that was texting me earlier, has an Alpha Strike box coming. So he said that I could borrow it, do an unboxing, do a miniatures review. So I don't have to get the box yet, but I probably will because it's more Big Stompy Robots. I also got a Amazon gift card from the in-laws for Christmas. And so not enough to get the Alpha Strike box, but with the upcoming overtime, I can probably justify it. So there's that. So we'll see. I'll probably borrow my buddies, do the unboxing, and then decide if I'm going to get it. But yeah, I haven't played it either. I don't know. For me, Battletech is always hex maps. I realize part of the reason for Alpha Strike is not everybody likes to do that. But, you know, it's how I learned to play. I blame Robotech for getting me into gaming because I got the Robotech role-playing game, but I didn't really know what a role-playing game was, didn't know how to use it, didn't really know how to create an adventure. So I just read it as a source book about Robotech. But BattleTech itself, I would say, is what turned me into a gamer, because I could play with all the Robotech robots. But just in a different game that I could understand. So, which I also think is kind of funny, because I'm talking about all the Palladium books that I'm getting. And this was when Robotech, the license was held by Palladium Books for the role-playing game. I was dumb. I didn't know what I was doing. So, you know, I have an attachment to the role-playing books, but more because of the source book aspect, as opposed to the many hundreds of hours I've spent role-playing, because I haven't. Which is fine. I still appreciate it. I still do some reviews. I try to focus more on what I think of the content, as opposed to like the mechanics of the content. Like, I don't think a role-playing game needs to be balanced. I think a game master needs to know his players and needs to find ways for each of his players to shine. You know, so, oh, very nice. So when you say original box, are you talking Battle Droids? Because I've actually never even seen Battle Droids in person. It was in my time frame. All right, sort of. I mean, I was old enough, but I didn't even find out about BattleTech until about 4 years after it had come out. I was like 13. So, God, okay. So like the Plastech versions, the like sort of, they were like 3 or 4 pieces to assemble. Yeah, I have so this was not mine originally. A friend gifted this to me, but I had one as a kid. This just wasn't it. So this needs to get repainted, but yeah, so Skinny Barrel AC5 Marauder. That is one of the pride and joys of my collection. Very happy to have that one. I also have an original Warhammer with the searchlight broken off, which those things just did not stay on anyways. I was either losing the searchlight or the missile rack or both. But that was back before I really knew how to transport miniatures. We had this really weird game store. Roaming Panther Game Company, which it was like 4 miles from my house. I could ride my bike there. And the owner was weird. I don't know the original. I mean, the original Warhammer wasn't bad, but I just know I always lost either the missile launcher or the searchlight. I don't think I had the original Marauder 2. But so Roaming Panther Game Company, I could ride my bike there. But the owner was he was nice every time I went in there, but he was an old school 70s gamer. Because this was, 80s, early 90s, and he was married and had a couple of kids, so he was at least in his 30s. So, he grew up in the 70s or something. Anyways, but like I remember I'd found out about Warhammer and I went in and I asked him about it. And he's like, we don't carry that here. I made my own game, and so I bought it because it was supposed to. He's like, this is better, and I had no idea what I was doing. And ours did not smell like herbs. So what was weird? So this is the United States. We have guns. Just, regardless of anyone's opinion on that, it's relevant to the story. And I was like 15 or 16, and like I was going in for a couple of years, and no big deal. And then, and like it was always like either him or his wife, or and then usually like his 2 kids like in the back room, and so like they would homeschool them or something. I don't know. This was 30 plus years ago. And then one day I came in, and he's got a handgun on his hip. And I wasn't really upset. I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. I just thought it was really, really, really strange. Which is funny because the laws are a lot more, relaxed where I live now than they were then. So anyways, but like he just kind of got a little crazier and a little crazier. And then eventually the store just shut down. I have no idea what happened to it. But what was really weird is, say, 10 to 15 years ago, I went to my wife's work, and he was working there. Like in like the sales department or something. And just like the fact that I'd seen this guy now it was like 20 years later. Saw the guy, and he was nice. He was a little weird still, but it was really weird. But he did carry all sorts of games. It's where I'd buy BattleTech. They carried GURPS. Those are the things I remember. They had like a lot of like the Avalon Hill kind of games. It was an interesting place, to say the least. And I kind of miss it. But, he had obviously kind of checked out on running the store. So, yeah. Oh, those 80s and 90s game stores, they were something else. And I say that in a good way. it was, like I said, he was nice. You know, there was another store that I found out about after I could drive, and I didn't like going there because the guy chain smoked like there was no tomorrow. And it was this old building, like probably built in like the early 1900s. Well, and it wasn't even weird. It was just straight up tobacco smoke. You know, but you could go in there and you could find stuff that had just been sitting on the shelves for a decade. So when that shut down, it definitely lost something. All right, now I was told to paint tattoos on this guy. Where's my teeny tiny brush? That teeny tiny brush will not work. I should throw that away. Yeah, yes, American old. Well, not even American old. Arizona old. Like Arizona didn't even become a state until 1912. So old stuff in Arizona is like the late 1800s. But you go to the East Coast, so Virginia, those kind of areas, then you have, stuff that was old, or that'll be, kind of that old, not quite 1700s, but you'll have much older stuff than you would even have here. All right, I'm gonna do yes, you have, well, and you also have old stuff, like isn't there like some pub in like Nottingham or something that's been there since like the 1200s or something? I don't know. So I'm giving him a brown tattoo. It's supposed to be a dagger, but I'm also dealing with a very small area, so I can't really go too crazy with it. I'm just gonna do a little diagonal line, which I don't know. I think it looks like something, but this guy's got like fur anyways. So I'm just saying that it's like he dyed his fur because a tattoo wouldn't show under the fur. Yeah. So, right. And you guys have churches from the 1100s. Like, there were Native Americans here. They didn't build a lot of, big cities. So, at least nothing that was continuously inhabited. So, yeah, my wife and I are celebrating 25 years this year. We're actually thinking about going to Europe. I'm going to give this guy the same tattoo. We actually want to go to Germany, though. I mean, I want to go to Britain because I've never been there either. But we both just have kind of wanted to visit Germany. My dad spent 2.5 years there. I think I mentioned this last time. On a mission for our church, and then lived there with my mom and my brothers. That did not come out as well. That's okay. Maybe he's got a snake or something on his arm. It's very tiny. I'm calling it away. Yeah, he's got a snake on it. That's what it is. It's a snake. We're going with snake. Anyways, so we're thinking about doing that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Because only other country I've really been to is Brazil. All right. Strong tone. Where's my strong tone? Everybody tonight is getting strong tone. Here we go. So yeah, probably Germany. Everybody goes to France. Eh. England is obviously easy because of the language. We are going to come back to you. But we just figure do something kind of big, kind of fun for, I mean, she's put up with me for 25 years. I should take her somewhere kind of big and crazy. But then the question is, while we're there, do we just take advantage of it and hit England too? A sailing trip with the army seems kind of counterintuitive. Would seem like more of a Navy thing, but whatever. These are the jokes, people. It's what I got. Let's see. So yeah, Hamburg, Denmark, Sweden, back to Denmark. So that sounds good. I don't know. I just I kind of want to just go to Germany, rent a car, and then that way we can just do what we want. Don't have to go necessarily on anyone's schedule. I just have to know what to do. Oh. Wow. Now that's just one of those. You just do that trip. That's a given. I mean, oh, sure. I mean, absolutely sounds like it. So is it just like we'll call it an army sponsored vacation, basically? And that's what it kind of sounds like. Because yeah, like my parents, holy crap, basically 20 years ago. Like all of my good stories are from like 20 years ago. Took the entire family on a Disney cruise. And it was nice because you just get on the boat and then the boat goes everywhere. But we were also young and broke, and so couldn't really do anything. My parents splurged for me to go scuba diving because my dad and I got scuba certified back in the day. But adventure training. The army in the 90s before the world went weird. We'll put it that way. That's a safe way to put it, right? But yeah, no, if I'd had the same opportunity, I'd have taken it too. Like, it's kind of funny. I work in tech right now, and the company I work for 10 years ago opened up a call center in India, which is funny because, oh wow, so you got like all the beginning of the crazy. So glad you're safe. So they opened up this India call center, which is actually kind of funny because it was more about reducing the number of India phone calls that we would get in the US, because basically the US handles all the English calls. And so we'd get all the Indian calls, which they speak English, but it's not always the same. And it's not always easy enough to understand. I bet I had a few friends go through that. I almost did, but an officer in the Air Force didn't want me. So here I am. Anyway, so they opened up this India call center. And then after a couple of years, then they decided to kind of like skill up the India call center and get them some, additional training, have some more advanced support. And then that way they could offload some of that over to India in like the off hours. And this guy in my department got to go and train everyone over there. And I was super jealous. I've never had a job where anybody sent me anywhere. I just go to the office and work. Not anymore. I get to work from home. That's awesome. But so they would send this guy to India, and everybody in our department was like, "Oh, I would never do it. I'm not going to India. That's horrible. They're, it's dirty. It's, it's dangerous. It's blah, 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 whatever." And all I could think of was, send me. I don't care. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I mean, not necessarily in the circumstance you're there, but I think but like a lot of the Eastern European countries, I think, would just be interesting to visit. I just got a little more attachment to Germany, which is why we're planning on that one. But the number of people that are just like, "Oh, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it." And I was just thinking, if they're going to send me, they're going to send me over there for like a month. That's fine, because I'm only working 40 hours a week. So after work, oh, gross. That sucks. That is What? So that everybody can see what I'm reacting to. Bosnia is safe. Only incident of note was a guy out on a run, trod on a bouncing mine. His weight pushed it into the soft mud, and it went off. Shot up between his legs, hit him in the crotch, bounced off, and didn't go off. Holy crap, that dude is lucky. That is, oh my gosh. I just, that, whew. I got nothing. That is nuts. Anyways, yeah, holy crap. But yeah, so nobody wanted to go. They're like, oh, you know, it's horrible, whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I will let the company give me a month-long vacation in a foreign country. Yes, I'll do some work for you to pay for it, but that's fine. And then like the last 2 weeks, I would pay for my wife to come out, and then we could spend a couple of weeks and find, because then I'd know people, and then they could take me around safely, theoretically. I don't know. It was a theory. It was 10 years ago. It's not happening. All right. So inside was a small piece of wire. When that wire goes taut, boom, because it hit him in the crotch, it didn't go taut. That is nuts. Holy crap, that is nuts. Ha, 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 ha. I see what I did there. Oh, I make horrible jokes. I apologize. Oh, I think I like this blue better. So, but yeah, nobody's ever sent me anywhere except for the church, and they sent me to Brazil. And I had to pay for it, which is fine. Actually, my parents paid for it, but it was literally nuts. Yes. We're going to bring that one up too. Anyways, so I am not what we would call a world traveler. I have been to Adepticon many times. I've been to Gen Con many times. Thanks to Mantic Games. Straight up thanks to Mantic Games. They needed help. I get lots of time off from work. So I volunteered. They covered my hotels. Sometimes they covered my plane flights. And those are some of, like, Gen Con was good. Didn't go last year. So the new Kickstarter is actually launching at Adepticon, not Gen Con. Because they're doing it in March, which is Adepticon. Gen Con is usually July or August. And I don't know if I get to go anymore. Because basically, my opinion, I'm going to give Mantic a week of my time off. And, like, for working the convention, I get $125 credit to use at the Mantic booth. But then I've got to pay $500 for the plane flight. I don't really think it's worth it. I think Mantic's big enough that they can pay for a plane flight. So if they don't, then I'm not going to get to go. Gen Con, I don't know. Again, same deal. If they're going to pay for my flight, awesome. If they're not, then it's just not worth it. But my wife and I are going to Dice Tower West in Vegas, theoretically, which is also in March. So we will see where I end up at for conventions this year. But nice thing is, I have contacts, so if I need stuff, I can usually get stuff, and it's not a problem. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I need to do a little bit of dry brush on the black. Let's go with that blue-gray pale again. So, but I also, stubborn American here. Gen Con, last year, I don't know about this year. I don't think they've announced yet. Required that you show proof of vaccination, which I'm not going to pass judgment on anybody who does or does not. But I don't think it's any of Gen Con's business. So I didn't go last year. But that's me. So yeah, we'll see what happens. If not, I had a lot of fun trips, and a lot of good memories made, and still have a lot of really good friends. Definitely no regrets. Had a lot of fun. Dice Tower West is going to be fun. Already talking to the Mantic volunteer coordinator about running some events up there. So that just might be my Adepticon for the year. I don't know. We'll see. Going to do Hellboy. I've got my Hellboy retail set all painted up. So probably on some of these other paint streams, I'll start painting up some of the Kickstarter stuff. I try to do demos just off of the base set, just because it's what people can buy, reliably. If you want a Kickstarter set, you've got to try and find one off of eBay or something. So giving her a little gray hair just to get some highlights. Anyways, we will see what happens. All right. So these are basically done. So let's do bases. And then I'm going to go and try and get some sleep. And then when I wake up, I can get 6 more shorts. Actually, I can do a little bit more than 6. Recorded and uploaded. And push that out even farther. Actually, I'm going to have to wake up and get that Battletech video done. the top dry. But I do appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, exactly. So, have you hit up any game conventions in Europe? Like, I keep getting tempted to go to Essen. Everybody always talks about, oh, Essen is super cool. But then, like, I have a friend from Germany, from Adepticon, which is awesome. Super, super nice guy. Absolutely love the guy. But he says that Essen, it's like just a dealer's hall. There's no like 24-hour gaming. You go in, see stuff in the dealer's hall, and then at like 6 o'clock you have to leave, which just seems weird to me. And then he said that like what'll actually happen is like families will come out and they'll just go for one day. So it's a 4 or 5 day show, but they'll just pick one day, take the train in, and go. So was that a European BlizzCon or was that BlizzCon in California? Thought they only had the one in California. I have not been to one of those. I do have a fun story about it, though. Not my story. But a friend of mine, she went to BlizzCon and entered the costume contest. And she went as, oh, very nice. She went as an elf, made the costume herself. That's important later on to the story. Made the costume herself, but she took an old wheelchair, like motorized wheelchair, and made a turtle mount that she rode out on the stage on. And like the turtle was like, move its head back and forth and open its mouth and stuff. It was super good. Yeah, that's my friend. And I met her where I'm working now 12 years ago. And she quit. She already had, her college degree, but she quit, went to California to go to a costume trade school, and graduated the program, started working for a company making YouTube videos, and she did costumes for it. Like if you on YouTube, if you search for I think it's Pokemon pickup lines, they are not child friendly, by the way. But she did all the costumes for that. She's actually in it, which was kind of funny. And then the company that she went to work for got bought out by Disney because they wanted to get into the online space. And so I've actually gotten some fun Disney trips because I'm friends with her. Like, she's like, hey, I'm going to Disney World. Do you and your wife want to come along? And we did. And so we got a week in Disney World for pretty darn cheap. Anyways, there's one guy. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Got a little too much gray on his knee pad and the strap. So just hit it with some thinned out black. There we go. I think it works. But yes, I will pass her on the message that random people that she's never met still talk about her awesome BlizzCon costume. Here's the Apprentice Jedi. I was hoping the wash would pick out her face a little better, but oh well. This little commando guy. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate it. I don't think so. Stupid imposter syndrome. But I like them. I think they came out pretty good. Not going to win an award, but that's okay.
Okay, so let's see. Housekeeping. The Battletech video, like I said, hopefully up later today for you, Steven. Probably, tomorrow you'll see it. Thank you. Let's see. I need to line up an interview for Thursday. We'll see. But I should have stuff coming out fairly regularly. At least my shorts will come out for the next 2 weeks. Got lots of stuff to record. And we'll just go from there. I will make it a point to go over your stuff just to show you, because I think this is kind of funny. There we go. See, I've got it, and you can see all of the tabs across the top because I'm ridiculous. So anyhow, but yeah, needless to say, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, Steven. And for anyone else who is watching or watches this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed it. And if not, just keep your eyes peeled for another amateur painting time stream, and we'll just hang out and we will talk some more. And yes, Steven, I agree with your statement. Good Lord, that's a lot of tabs. Yeah, but anyways, all right. Thank you, Steven. We will talk to you next time, bud.